Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Product Data Your Way, How IDEA Empowers Flexible Data Syndication. We're excited to have you with us for this session, hosted by Angela Baraks from IDEA and Mary Shaw from ETIM North America. To access the slides from today's presentation, please click the resources icon on the right side of your screen. Following the presentation, we'll open things up for Q&A. Please feel free to submit your questions at any time by clicking on the Q&A icon and entering your question. If we're unable to address all questions during the session, someone from our team will follow up with you afterward. Finally, we'd appreciate it if you could take a moment at the end of the webinar to share your feedback through a short post-event survey. Your input helps us continue to improve future sessions. With that, I'm happy to turn things over to Angela Baraks to get us started.
Great. Thanks so much, Lori, for that warm introduction. My name is Angela Baraks, and I'm the Director of Data Quality and Standards here at IDEA. I've been at IDEA for about 3 years now, and I've been in the electrical industry for 30 plus years. I feel like I've grown up in the electrical industry, starting with an electrical manufacturer back in the 90s, and just progressed through my career to have different roles in data management and with software companies. So I'm so happy to be part of the IDEA team, and Mary and I go way back on IDEA standards and IDEA standards committees. So I'm so happy to be co-presenting with her. So Mary, give us a little bit about you.
Thanks, Angela. Hi, I'm Mary Shaw. I'm Executive Director of ETIM North America. And like Angela, I've been in the industry for a long time. This is actually my 40th year. It's hard to believe, but yeah, I almost all of my career, I have been deeply involved in the development of e-commerce and data standards. It's just, I feel that I need to help the industry cut costs out of doing business as much as I can. And for those of you that have been around for a while, like us, you probably are familiar with my work with IDEA. I ran the Industry Standards Committee for 17 years, and that's how Angela and I know each other so well.
So we're going to get started today, and we're going to talk a little bit about IDEA. If you just get familiarity about IDEA, we're going to talk about ETIM and ETIM North America. And then Mary's going to talk a little bit about how the ETIM standard works. I'm going to bring in how IDEA incorporates ETIM into our standardized harmonized data model. We'll talk about the different choices that manufacturers have, and then just talk about our further collaboration together with IDEA and ETIM North America. Open it up for questions. So if you don't know about IDEA, we've been in the industry for 25 plus years. We say we're for the industry, made by the industry. Our owners are NEMA and NAD, and really a group of manufacturers and distributors came together way back then and said, you know, we'd really like to have one source of truth for our product information. We'd like to be able to have that standardized so that we're not spending a lot of time reinventing the real wheel and sending information that's not organized. And that's really where we evolved and came to be. So we are excited to have one of our products featured today, which is the IDEA Connector. And we have many services and products that we can offer to our membership. So if you're not intimately involved with IDEA, feel free to talk to us after the webinar or reach out to us. We'll be happy to talk about our other services. But the IDEA Connector is really about that syndication platform and be able to take in manufacturer data one time and be able to syndicate it to their multiple trading partners throughout the industry. And we're backed by a very great team in our customer success, and they're always willing to help with any data challenges that you may have.
About ETIM in general. First, let's start with explaining where we came from. ETIM was created back in 1991 by the Dutch Installers Association, similar to NICA, the Contractors Association. They were frustrated with the lack of information enabling them to find the products that they were looking for. They were ordering products, it was getting to their job sites, it was wrong, they were having to return it, reorder. So construction was being delayed, and they said, enough is enough. If you're going to supply us the products, you're going to define it the way we tell you to define it. So they created ETIM, and there was initially 6 countries that were involved because of the overlap with manufacturers and distributors. But they kind of banded together and worked on the model. And then following their success with ETIM in 2008, those 6 countries formed ETIM International with the federations, as they called them. And they were the ones that had the first set of members. We now have over 20 countries involved with ETIM chapters dedicated to advancing the model with the needs of their local members. Now, ETIM North America, we came out of that need for the industry. I was initially introduced to ETIM by a contingent from Sonopar Canada and Germany back in 2009. Oof, seems like forever ago. I became actively involved in ETIM International in 2015 and then launched ETIM North America in 2020. We are a standalone nonprofit member-based organization, and we are the official representative for the North American market on the ETIM International General Assembly of member countries. We are the first line of support for our members in all 3 North American countries and are responsible for the translating of the model to North American languages, and that's English, of course, North American English, French Canadian, and Mexican Spanish. But our main goal is to help our industry become more efficient and cost-effective in the digital communication of electrical product descriptors. So let me just give you an overview of what ETIM is. It is a global product data classification standard for technical or electrical products. We have predefined classes, features, values, and units of measure even, as well as synonyms. And I like to refer to the features and values as product descriptors. That improves findability across brands and across channels. ETIM is not a hierarchy like UNSPSC, but it's a flat model that goes in at the lowest level within a company's internal hierarchy, however they've set their structure in their PIMs or their ERPs. We provide a set of descriptors or keywords, or as people are more familiar with, to search and find the right product. With the alphanumeric codes for each element, each class, each feature, each value, each unit measure, and each synonym, they have their own unique code that enables the communication of the product across any language. Each of the ETIM country organizations translate the one global model to their languages and terminology and grammar, and aid in the searching process, no matter what country you're in or buying from or selling to.
And much like ETIM, the category attribute specification is what we use at IDEA, and we often call that shorthand CAS, if you hear me say that. And we have adopted our attribute specification standard. It starts with the UNSPSC code. And that UNSPSC code is a global standard classification system, often used for procurement as well as categorizing products. So what we found over the years is that the UNSPSC code sometimes was not as granular as we would like it to be. So we developed an ITCC code, which is a 4-digit code that kind of hangs off the end of the category. That allows us to give a little bit more granularity to those categories. And like ETIM, we have attribute labels, we have data types and data codes. Our attribute labels allow for multiple value code sets and single code sets. And then of course we use the unit of measure, and we have both imperial and metric. So as we harmonize our data model, as we go through the harmonization, we are adding all the data types to our attributes and giving more stricter validation rules against those attributes. So a couple of years ago, we were tasked with a directive from NEMA and our board to look at how we could assist the industry with adopting different standards and being able to syndicate those within our platform. So we started with ETIM, and we have, we've not done this alone. We have over 50 companies that are part of our SME subject matter expert group. And they helped with the harmonization between ETIM and CAS. We wanted to make sure that we had the right set of attributes and that we were aligning those attributes correctly, and then looking at different manufacturers' data and making sure that when we developed our coded list of values, that it was values that they use and that they had in their data set. And what the Harmonized data model really allows us to do is be able to have a single file format for ETIM and CAS, and allow those manufacturers to put it in one way and have the distributors be able to pull it out in the format that they use. So we know that multiple data standards exist in the industry and across industry. So I mean, there's just ETIM is just one. There's GDSN and many others, and BIM. So we wanted to be able to have our model flexible for that. And we really wanted to have distributors be able to get normalized data. That's really the end goal. So they can use this data in their e-commerce systems or their ERP systems without having to do a lot of manual work to get that normalized. So we really simplified the syndication for that. And so today, manufacturers, if they're ETIM 8, they can go ahead and just put that ETIM data as well as CAS data all on a single file format that they're used to. We put that through our connector, and then distributors are able to have flexibility in how they want to pull that data down. So if they want to just use CAS, they can do that. If they want to have ETIM only attributes, they can do that. They can have a combination on the same file, and they also can have a custom map where they can actually pick and choose attributes that are important to their business systems and be able to pull just those attributes. So we really give a lot of flexibility to the distributor to be able to support them and have them really choose the way that they want to ingest that data. And we've also made the model future ready. So as we kind of grow, we can go to other classification systems, maybe BIM or E-Class, and create those within this kind of same structure of put it in one way and get it out the same way. Now, when we talk about ETIM support, we also support ETIM as a kind of the standalone standard. And so when I look back in our notes, we really started to allowing manufacturers to send ETIM data through the platform back in 2018 when ETIM 7 was introduced. And we've now recently introduced ETIM 10. So for manufacturers that want to send the ETIM all by itself with just the codes, they can do that. They have a file format, and they can do that in a flat file or in XML. And just the same, if a distributor, especially those that are, have global parent companies or are, exploring ETIM in North America, they can also download those in that code set, and then they have the ability to be able to translate that to multiple languages because it is on those codes and how ETIM works. So really flexible. They can use the ETIM Dutch version ETIM, and they can use ETIM North America. So it gives them that flexibility. And again, we're not trying to say that you have to pick one standard over the other, but within the connector, you have many ways that you can transmit the data that's important to your trading partners.
And something else too, something that Angela and I encountered over the years on the standards committee, and something when I was with IDEA that I encouraged as much as possible with UNSPSC. It's important that companies try and get up to the most current model as new products are being added to both UNSPSC or even to ETIM as our efforts grow. You want to be able to take advantage of those additions and changes changes. Because if you stay on the older versions, then there's probably information there that you're not able to communicate with your trading partner. So whether it be with CAS or with ETIM, it's important that you try and update or upgrade to the most current model that's available. And as Angela said, they now can do 10. We will be releasing 11 at the end of this year.
Yes, that's thanks for that additional information, Mary. Appreciate that. And yeah, again, it's that flexibility of being able to, however you need to supply that data, making sure that you can supply it in the way that your business system works. And Patrick Knight, our president and CEO, sits on the ETIM North American board, and our collaboration really goes beyond leadership. Mary and our teams have been coordinating together to ensure that our harmonized ETIM codes that we're sharing the gaps between the two standards. So while we call our subject matter experts SMEs, ETIM calls them PEGs, and product expert groups, we are working on making sure that we can find all the ETIM codes that will harmonize to the UNSPSC class codes. And we've been working on that project with Mary and her team. And if there's areas where we see maybe some gaps, where we have some coded list of values that our manufacturers use that we couldn't quite find in ETIM, we're sharing that information. So I think you'll see more kind of ETIM North America and IDEA being more in tune together, because we know that we really want to support our overall community in whatever standard that they're servicing to their customers.
And yeah, we as we've seen over the years, especially in North America, there's a lot of things that are different than in other parts of the world, regulatory requirements and certifications that are needed, especially in California. We need to identify what those are and make sure that that ETIM is covering them as well. That is really our role from North America, is to bring that level of data to the global model, so that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can communicate your products to your trading partners if they're in another country. So we have to make sure that that's there. And with our joint efforts and with IDEA and the SMEs and our product expert groups, we're hoping to be able to identify anything that needs to be added. And we're here to support the industry. That's really what we're trying to do. We want to help educate the industry on the importance of following and adopting data standards to make easier use of product information and help companies sell more products. That's really what we're here to do. So from an ETIM perspective, our membership is open to the entire channel. We want to make sure that we cover all of the needs that are out there, and in order to do that, we have to have the channel involved. ETIM is an open standard. Anyone can use it for free. But in order to influence it, to add new products, to add new features or values, companies must be a member of their local organization. ETIM International's philosophy is that only product experts can influence the model. People that know what the product is, how it works, how it's used, and how it's searched for. That philosophy also applies to each of the ETIM country organizations. So we depend on our members to bring their product experts to the table to help build on the one global model, so the entire industry can benefit from our data standard. And from a manufacturer perspective, becoming a direct member, you have the expertise. You know your own products. Distributors, you have cross-brand knowledge for the multiple suppliers that you buy from. But even more importantly, you know your customers and what they're looking for, how they search for it, and what the words are that they search with, what the keywords are in order to be able to find the product. We also welcome solution providers like IDEA and manufacturers, reps, associations, and contractors. They're welcome to join as well. All of those organizations want to help their customers and their members move into the digitalized era that we are in today and do it successfully. This is just some of the logos for our current members of ETIM North America. Many of these companies are also members in other countries, as they're responsible for bringing their experts for their country needs to the table. And we do have some distributor members. As you can see, we have some big ones on here and some local domestic ones, and the associations and solution providers that are involved with our efforts here and being the champions for ETIM in North America. So the benefits of becoming a direct member is mostly to be able to influence the model. You get to set and refine the product classifications, the descriptors, as I like to call them. What comes with membership also is access to the tools that ETIM International has developed to make it easier to adopt the model. One of the main big things is the mapping for versions. So like Angela showed how IDEA can handle 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then we're coming out with 11. Members only get access to the mapping that shows what's changed between the versions, and that makes it much easier to upgrade to the newest version. And so if you want to be able to keep up to date, that is where you'll get access to that tool. We also offer training and education on what ETIM is, and we will do that collaboratively with IDEA as well going forward. For membership, we have unlimited participants. You sign up for one membership, and that includes anyone that is your experts from US, from Canada, even from Mexico. We only ask that each company get one vote for anything that needs to be voted on, but we want to make sure that we have it open for people to bring. They may have an expert in one product line in the US and someone that is an expert in one of their other product areas in Canada, and they can all be involved. So there's no additional cost for that. And really the main thing is you're shaping the data standards that your peers are adopting. So this is just a little example of the terminology or the translating that we are doing with our members. Currently, they have so far out of the model reviewed, excuse me, reviewed and accepted or modified the terminology or corrected the grammar in over half of the electrical classes in the model. Covering over 35,000 elements of data, and that's the features and the values as well, and the synonyms. And even we've even done some modifying of the HVAC and plumbing sector just because the features and the values overlap in the electrical industry. So in this example, things like translating hose systems to conduit. North America refers to it as conduit. Ironically, even UK calls it conduit, whereas Europe tends to refer to it as protective hoses. And also, this is a big one. This was probably the first one that jumped out at us, was socket outlets to receptacle outlets, as well as earthing, as it's referred to in Europe, to grounding, as we refer to it here. But we need to review more product areas like lighting and measuring and testing equipment and surge protection and so on. We need more product experts to help with the terminology and to help us expand the model to cover new products, new product areas within and beyond electrical.
And I know definitely when we started this process, if the North American translations were done, we would have had a lot easier time translating those product categories and those attributes. So for sure, that is a great addition when looking at harmonization. I appreciated that.
Right. The model was originally created in Dutch and German, and translated by non-native speaking English people. And so they kind of lost something in the grammar, the terminology, as we're finding that some things are called, like wrench is here, as in UK is called a spanner. But if you're in North America, you're going to be searching for a receptacle outlet, or you're going to be researching for a wrench. You're not going to be looking for a spanner.
Exactly.
So we need to make sure that the codes, the alphanumeric codes, are still the same, but the actual descriptions that go with them can vary across countries. Ironically, we even found that in Poland, a lot of their terminology is very similar to North America, which was quite eye-opening. But yeah, as we go through and do these translations, we're sharing them with IDEA so that they can better their harmonization efforts.
Yeah, which brings me to the point of the subject matter expert. So, we want you to, just as ETIM wants you to be a part of their product expert groups, we welcome additional subject matter experts from your team. So if you have product managers or someone that's involved in e-commerce, or any of your data stewards that manage your PIM, we would be happy to have them part of our solution. So this deck is going to be made available to you afterwards. So certainly you can scan the QR code. It's also on our website. But really, the idea of having the subject matter experts is to be able to make sure that when we're designing or changing those attributes and updating those attributes, that we have what is the common language for your attributes in your organizations, and then making that available to manufacturers within the same product grouping, and making sure that everybody agrees that that terminology is what should be used and what should be searched on for your products. So it's real important that we get a kind of a cross variation between both multiple manufacturers in a single product category as well as distribution. So making sure that ultimately the distributors are going to be putting that on their website, and which product attributes are searchable, and what should those indicate versus something maybe that you see in a spec sheet, or you see in a speccing out a particular job. So it helps to have really a well-rounded group, and we're happy to have you on board. So, the benefits to the using the harmonization HDM model is just, you have flexibility. So if you're not quite involved in ETIM yet, but you do have some attributes that kind of cross over between the two standards, you certainly can provide those. If you look at the ETIM standard and say, they have a couple of attributes that we could use and we should have in connector so that they're available to our distributors, you kind of have a way to do that in a pace that's comfortable for you. If you're fully on board on ETIM and you want to supply all of ETIM, you can do that as well. So we really have a lot of flexibility for our manufacturers, and ultimately we really want to reduce the time and effort on both sides, from the manufacturer's perspective of being able to send in a file at one, with flexibility of it being on one, in one source. And then from the distributor standpoint, just being able to reduce the amount of effort and lift that they need to provide the right information to their end user customers. And I think the distributors, really see the value by normalizing that data and having it really ready to use. It allows our teams to be doing things other than data cleanup. And so we've seen with our harmonized data model and putting those parameters and validations that we've seen, time savings and availability of being able to set this information right up. So it leads to better buying decisions. It leads to better online user experiences. I think we all have been in the field long enough to know the benefits of standardized data, but again, being flexible is so important.
Yeah, and these benefits are for adopting any data standard. It applies to any company that recognizes that adopting a data standard can only help them as well as help the industry as a whole. Manufacturers, be that company who a distributor wants to do business with. Make it easier for them to sell your products. Distributors, by adopting a product data standard, you are helping your customers find the right product that they need the first time. Eliminate costly returns due to wrong products being ordered. And I know, having in my past, that I have spent an awful lot of time with dealing with returns because the wrong products were ordered. What we're trying to do is cut that out of the industry and put that money back into something more beneficial for an organization.
Well, that wraps up what Mary and I had to talk about as far as what is ETIM, what is IDEA, what is the Harmonized Data Model. I know that it's, a high level overview, and we welcome any time that you would like us to give more information. We're both available as well as our teams. But let's see if there's any questions that have been asked during this session that we can kind of help.
Yeah, it looks like we have a few.
Yeah, we do have a few. So I will start with the one on top. Let's see. What's the difference between CAS and ETIM, and how do I know which one to adopt? It says.
Oh, go ahead, Mary.
Oh, I was going to let you jump on that.
Well, I think that CAS is, primarily used in North America. So it's a standard that's been around for, 15 years. And then ETIM, I think, is a global standard, and we're trying to kind of bridge the gap between using CAS and ETIM. I think that you can use both, and certainly if you have distributors that are have parent companies and that are global, they're going to want to also use ETIM because that's what their counterparts are using. And
really because because CAS was created from UNSPSC when we first started a long time ago, it's mostly US based or North American based because it's the United Nations Standard Products and Service Codes, for those that don't know what UNSPSC stands for. But with ETIM, it enables the communication of product data outside of your immediate country in that sense. But we're finding that a lot of global distributors are going to central PIM systems. They don't want to have to deal with different sets of data in one country from another country from another country. So they're going with central systems. And because of in a lot of cases, their parent organizations are in Europe, they have adopted ETIM decades ago, because ETIM has been around for almost 35 years now. They want to be able to have that same data to be able to flow all the way through their channels. So that's the difference with ETIM, is that companies that are domestic can benefit from it because it is standardized. But for manufacturers, if you're feeding data domestically to your distributors here, but you also need to feed data to your global trading partners, having one standard format to follow is where ETIM comes into play.
Yeah, and really the benefit of having it in the connector is that you can have kind of both editions. If you need to syndicate just ETIM, you can do that, and we have global syndication partners that we have customers that syndicate their data globally. If you need it only in the US, you can kind of do that hybrid combination model where it may not even whatever the ETIM attributes that are exclusive to ETIM, you can still provide those to your distributors. So you have to pick one or the other. It's just we have the availability to really have kind of the best of both worlds within the connector.
And this question is kind of related to that. Did you offer tools for mapping existing SKUs to UNSPSC CAS and ETIM?
Yeah, so at IDEA, we have a professional data services team, and we're able to do that for you, as well as the things that we've harmonized. You can see any manufacturer that has product data within the connector has the ability to download information that shows them the ETIM codes that align with their products and what attributes are available. So we've built a lot of tools within the connector. And then if you are just starting out and you're like, I don't know what the ETIM codes are equivalent to UNSPSC, we have the ability to do special projects for you, and we can do that normalization and cross mapping for you. So a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, and from an ETIM perspective, mapping is, we turn that over to our solution providers to assist. They know the systems, they know how manufacturer systems work and distributor systems work. So we defer the mapping process to our solution provider members, and they can help you get it done.
Okay, here's one for you, Mary. What type of role is needed to participate in the ETIM product expert group?
Yeah, what we're looking for, again, because of ETIM's International's philosophy that only product experts can influence the model, we're looking for people that really know what the products are. And that tends to be the product managers, the sales and marketing teams, who also need to understand what the products are. You can't sell a product if you don't fully understand it. So those are the type of roles that we're looking for to help us on our product expert groups. Yeah.
And this one's probably related to that. What does becoming an ETIM North America member involve, and what is the time commitment? It's a membership. What's involved is you would select the product experts that you want to be involved, whatever product area that your team is, and the time commitment can be anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 hours a month, depending on how broad that product area is. Basically what our members do is they go through the model, they look at the classes and the features that fall in their portfolio, and just identify where things need to be adjusted or whether they're good to go. In addition, if a manufacturer has new products, or even a distributor has new products that they're coming from another supplier that it hasn't put their data in IDEA or hasn't become a member, distributors may have expertise and say, hey, you know what, we need these batteries to be added or whatever. And then they get to champion that change request. And that change request is a matter of just filling out a form and submitting it through me, and through the review process with International, be available if they come back with questions on what the request is. So it's not a lengthy time. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it's just important that time is shorter and better used if the person that's doing it actually understands what the products are. Good. Okay, our next question is, what's the biggest benefit of using ETIM or HDM if our distributors aren't fully using it yet?
I would say that I think the benefit for, we've talked about normalizing your data and standardizing your data. So I think that that's the biggest benefit is, if you're going to go down the path of looking at your data, knowing that it's going out to different trading partners, and if you're looking out to the global aspect, then ETIM should, you should have ETIM as well. And I think that from a North American distributor that may not be, tasked with having to have ETIM, it gives you that flexibility to kind of look at both standards and kind of take the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with a North American distributor who is not international, that wants to have a standardized set of data, that doesn't want, that, you know, maybe still has their own system that they need to adapt to. ETIM can be a good solution, especially if you're just starting to build your digital footprint and build a PIM. ETIM is a really good way to start filling your product data in and the product descriptors to go with your assorted suppliers. So if the manufacturers provide the data to you in ETIM format, that's even better. It just makes your life so easy, makes the order to cash cycle so much faster if a standard is being followed from the beginning all the way down through the channel.
Yeah, and I think what we've learned over the years too is that we can, you know, kind of pivot as well. So with CAS, you know, we've added the data structure and the data typing, so it is more structured than it has been in the past. And so if you haven't looked at it in a while, you know, take another look at it, because the HDM has really added some more structure to it. And that's, you know, again, normalized data. No, however you supply it makes it easier for your distributors to ingest it. So even if they're not ready for it today, you'll be ahead of the game when they are ready for it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What does IDEA membership involve?
Oh, well, thanks for asking, Tammy. Well, IDEA, you know, we are a data syndication platform. So if you have interest in syndicating your data to multiple distributors, you're welcome to explore that. And being part of the SME group, we'd like that you'd be part of IDEA as well. And then we also have, you know, other different services. We have an IDEA exchange that has to do with EDI and exchanging your data through EDI, and you can be a partner with us with that as well. So,
Okay, here's a couple more questions that just came in. Is ETIM a mandatory field in IDEA Connector?
Today is not a mandatory field. So just like we know that not every manufacturer has classified their products with ETIM, it is an optional field, but if they have it, they can provide it. So there is a place for it.
And in addition to that, if you know, the field may not be mandatory, but from experience, and Angela and I know this, if your distributor wants it, then you really should consider providing it.
Yeah, and if you have it, provide it. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It's just another data point and availability for them. I was talking to a distributor partner, and they said that they have used ETIM to point out or indicate some of their sustainability products. So,
yeah, absolutely, because we are expanding on sustainability products in ETIM, working with the EU and the mandates that are coming out of Europe. We actually have a working group on an international level that is bringing the expertise, because that's just not an area we've got the expertise in, but especially as all the rules and regulations are being created. But we're having that added to our exchange format as well.
Yeah, regulatory is a whole nother can of worms.
It is.
Okay, can manufacturers request additional normalized attributes through IDEA?
Yeah, so we have a process for within CAS. If there's an attribute that you do not see in our schema, you can certainly send it through a process that we have, and it can be added. So I know Tammy is intimately involved with creating the attributes and the attribute values for our coded list of values. So even down to if you see we're missing a value that you use, that, you know, we can review that and add it to the schema. So pretty flexible there.
Okay. And then we have a couple of questions about AI.
Yeah. Yeah, I was seeing that, and I'm ready to jump on that one.
Okay, Joe, I'll read the question. How ETIM is leveraging AI data processing capabilities to help manufacturers transition from old to new models? And what about developing tools that can help manufacturers properly classify their portfolio?
From an AI perspective, again, we are relying on our our solution providers to help with that. And I know a lot of them are using AI to be able to do that mapping for them. But you know, that from my perspective, that's not something that I'm actually doing. But from an ETIM perspective, we are actually utilizing AI to help us with definitions to go with the classes, and then eventually the features. Now, that is an ongoing project that we have started last year. It's massive, of course, because we have 6,000 classes in the model. We had AI try and help us, but we also know that AI is only as good as the data that's out there. And if AI can't find it, it can't find the right thing. So what we are doing from an international perspective, and I say that because I sit on the ETIM International board, the staff at International are actually taking large chunks of the AI developed definitions and checking them, going through and making sure that they're correct, because we know that AI is not perfect. There's, you know, it's great assistant, but until the standardized data is out in the world for AI to go out and find, it still needs to be validated. It still needs to be checked.
Yeah, we've used it intermittently. I mean, I think that sometimes if we can't find a class code for ETIM, we might go out and see if we can find any kind of matches with that. Similarly, we found that we've done some tests with UNSPSC code classification, and it's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But certainly it does keep getting better. And I think classification is a tricky one. I think it is a combination of both tools and then humans, because sometimes the interpretation of it is just not quite right. But we're definitely, we're trying to utilize all the resources that we have.
Yeah, especially in the electrical industry. It is such it's not, you can't, as we've discovered, you can't programmatically translate the words from the electrical products, because they, together may mean something different that's in non-electrical. And it's such a delicate area of risk that we can't take the chance of AI, saying something is called whatever, and it being wrong, and then someone's life could be at risk. So we still need the human touch, at least today, and hopefully at least for the rest of my lifetime.
Well, as much as we've talked about data, Mary, I think we will be talking about it for the rest of our life.
I think so.
Okay, is ETIM currently available in IDEA data for our SKUs as a distributor?
So if the manufacturer has provided ETIM data, you have the flexibility to download that data in ETIM only, as well as if the product categories are harmonized, there's a way to select to see the ETIM data. Is that the question? I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Yeah,
it's the one is ETIM currently available in IDEA data for our SKUs?
Yeah, so it really depends on the manufacturer if they provided it. So if the product category has been harmonized, even if the manufacturer has not necessarily identified that those ETIM attributes are ETIM attributes, you can download them in the ETIM format. It'll be ETIM English. So there is a way to get the ETIM attributes, but yeah, so it's a mixture. It depends on if those particular manufacturers have loaded their.
They can pull both, right? They can pull both.
We recommend.
So there are some manufacturers that are loading their data in the ETIM format. I will I can give you one name I know is Siemens. They have been fully ETIM compatible for many years now and have been providing their data in ETIM structure. But the key is if a distributor wants it and your manufacturer hasn't provided it yet, you can ask for it. And it's always the chicken and the egg thing. But a distributor never fear or hesitate to ask for what you want.
I agree. And again, having the, if you already have your ETIM data structured, send it on its way. If you don't, and you need to, need a little assistance with that, we can help as well. So
Absolutely.
Okay, and then the last question on here. What level of completeness should we expect from manufacturers using HDM?
Well, I think with HDM, you're going to see a higher level of completeness because we've structured, again, that those data typing in the connector. We can see that manufacturers who are using the model and providing their data in that structure have adopted the rules for engagement on those particular attributes. So just we have a way of being able to programmatically look at that data as well and kind of massage it a little bit so that if they're missing, if the units of measure are together with the value, we can split that off in the way that it's structured in our database. So we have value reporting too for the distributors and the manufacturers to see on the load summaries for the manufacturer. They can see the data and how it's structured and maybe some warnings for some rules that they're not possibly following today, and then they can go back and kind of rework it in their PIM or in their ERP so that it is structured. So I really feel like the enhanced data and the data within the connector through HDM has higher quality because of it.
Okay, that's all the questions.
Wow, that was a lot.
That was a lot of questions.
Well, we appreciate everyone being on today. So happy to talk a little bit about what we're doing in the connector and what we're doing with ETIM North America. I think you'll see more with our organizations working together as Patrick being on the board and just knowing that, we are very passionate about data and we want the industry to succeed and use less of their resources to have more high quality data is really, in our hearts. And we want to be able to provide as much information as we can so that everyone can sell more products. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. Angela and I have been around for a long time. We've been on the standards committee for a long time together, and we've heard the complaints, the issues that the manufacturers have, the issues the distributors have, and we really, truly want to help the industry get this taken care of so that you can focus on other things. Data standards is proven time and time again to be successful for companies. And it may be a little bit of a pain at the beginning to start adopting, but you will see in the end that you will sell more products, whether you're a manufacturer or a distributor. It definitely will help you all the way down through the channel from the manufacturer right down to the end user. Standardized data is the key to industry today and to digitalization. So if anyone wants to be involved, if you're not already a member of ETIM North America, or a customer of IDEA, we really, again, from a product expert perspective and the ETIM philosophy, we need to have more product experts at the table. If you want to be involved, if you aren't yet, I'd be happy to set up a session with you and your management team to explain what ETIM is further and help bring you into the family.
And data is a strategic asset, and everybody knows that. And so we want to just make it easier for you.
Yeah, days of everybody doing their own thing are gone, and it's cost companies so much money to do their own thing, and then find out that you have to constantly maintain it. With a data standard, it is being maintained, and you just have to adopt it.
Great. Well, thanks, Mary. This was fun.
It was.
Yeah.
It's great to work with you again.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll see a lot of our companies that we both work together adopting more and providing more data to the connector. So.
And if anyone has any additional questions for us that we didn't get to today or that we didn't answer, you can always reach out.
Thanks. We'll turn it back over to Lori to close us out. Oh, Lori might be on mute.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Bye-bye.